sometimes the definition of leadership might not necessarily work for everywhere, for everybody.
Okay.
So sometimes understanding the nature of problem you're facing as a people, as an organization, as a country would really mean a lot when it comes to leadership. Leadership in itself doesn't mean that the fact that, okay, you know leadership doesn't mean that it will work when you come here. It doesn't mean that it will work when you also go there. You have to understand the nature of problem you are facing as a country or as a company or as an agenda, or probably there's something you want to achieve. Then you know the nature of leadership or the definition of leadership that best suits what you want to address. I think I would have loved to use Nigeria as an example. The 2023 election, some people thought the current president, he's the best. Some people felt Peter Obi is the best. I think the current president is actually the best man, because he has experience. But I also think that Peter Obi is actually the best man for the moment. And why? It's simple. The problem we're facing as a nation, we need certain qualities to address them. So sometimes experience might just even be a problem when it comes to competency. So sometimes you might think someone is experienced, doesn't mean that their qualities is what the problem at
current situation needs.
Welcome to the Glow Council, where we talk about everything personal development and business development. On this episode, we will dive into the Nigeria Premier segment, where we discuss with Nigerian entrepreneurs, their journey, struggles, and lessons learned on their path to success.
Hello everyone, we're here again on a new episode of the Glow Council, and I'm your favorite as usual, Babatunde Olaniro. Today, we're going to be having an interesting show as usual. I'm sure I don't need to talk about that again. But then we are going to be driving the direction of leadership today. So, and our focus today is going to be talking about the mentality and the attitude of leadership. Basically, the type of mentality and type of attitude that you need to start imbibing if you want to make sure that you succeed as a leader in whatever field that you're in. And today, I have someone very interesting who we will be talking about this together. He's a leadership trainer, so at least I know you guys know already that we'll be getting some gems here, some training session, even if it's not free, but he will give us free today. So welcome today, Miracle Yemo. Like I said, he's a leadership trainer, but he will tell us a little bit more about himself before we go deep and dive into the source of the day. So welcome, Mr. Miracle.
Thank you very much.
Nice having you here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for also bringing me here as well.
Yes.
So my name is Miracle, and I'm a leadership trainer and leadership consultant as well too. So we host leadership meetings for young people and leaders and professionals as well too. And thank you very much for having me here once again.
Yes, thank you. I'm curious, before we even start, do you tell us about your leadership, just a little bit about the leadership training, how that works? Okay,
so we began this 2015, 2014, thereabouts. So we met some young people, they were smoking, and I'm like, oh, no, you don't have to be a Christian or Muslim before you have a sense of direction for yourself, You could just know what to do with your life by just having to be a human being. And so we held a first meeting, that was in 2014, 2015. We had young people come. And at that time, I wasn't in school. I was still, just gallivanting around, And I'm like, oh, no, these guys can't do this. So we held the first meeting then. And the next meeting was in 2018. The next was in 2019. And then after pandemic, it became virtual. And so far, we've been, training heavy leaders from different sectors, different fields, different countries to speak on the subject of leadership and to change the narratives that we've always had. And improve that as well too.
Oh, nice. Do you guys organize like training for group training?
Oh, yes, we do. Yeah, we do organize master classes, but that's often based on request. So we have professionals from other fields to come train people.
Oh wow, yeah, that's great. That's good to know. And well, you guys, if you need some leader, anyways, let me not promote leadership, but at least I know that we've been speaking behind cameras before the show started, and I can tell you already that you need to be at one of the leadership training. So let's dive straight into it. We're talking about mentality and attitude of leadership today, and this, in my own view, stems from the fact that I believe that all of us are born with certain attitudes. Like we were discussing just, before we came on air. And what really shapes what makes a true leader from, I don't like to use the word bad, but what shapes the difference is really the attitude and the mentality towards that leadership. I know we discussed earlier also about, we were talking about the late Dr. Monroe, and he does have a book which he wrote, which is The Spirit of Leadership and the Leadership Spirit. And from his own perspective, he's saying that the leadership spirit is a concept that means the attributes you were born with. While the spirit of leadership, the other concept, is about your mentality and your attitude. And the two must match in order for you to be a true leader. You cannot just have only the attributes, you also need to have the attitude. So from this type of angle, I'm curious to know, again, if you even agree with that, because it's okay to disagree, especially when we're in an evolving world, right? Do you even agree with that thinking that, attitude and attributes are two different things when it comes to a leader? And then whether you agree or not, I would also like to get your view on what you think mentality and attitude, means in leadership.
Okay, well, that's really, I think in leadership, it's just like philosophy. You can't come to a conclusive conclusion, like you can't get to an end of a thing. So it's always dynamic. You need to find what works for you. And because sometimes some people are fortunate to be in an environment where they don't really necessarily have to put in so much effort to develop the aspect of their mentality, because naturally the environment where they were born had created that. So they were born in from that. So they don't really have so much to do when it comes to that aspect. But I totally agree with that, because as much as you have the spirit of leadership, you also have to develop that aspect of attitude.
Yes.
And so I'm going to set an example. And so let's say you're working as a customer care agent, and you had like this very bad clients like disturbing you, and then all that, keep calling, and you're like, hello sir, we would attend to you. And because again, so sir, we would attend to you. I know at that moment, what becomes leadership to you is the message you want to pass, the impression you want to create about not just who you are, but the understanding you have about what leadership should be. So, because then at that moment you could just say, sir, is something wrong with you? I've told you that this is it. And to some other people, because they want to create a good impression of their brand, because they want to achieve certain dynamic results, they would respond such a way that say, I know this is how you feel, but please, could you kindly be patient? And so, the attitude, that's an attitude. And that's as a result of your belief and what the results you want to achieve.
Yes.
Everybody has to have a purpose in mind before they begin anything. Because if you don't have purpose in mind, the way you respond to things will be quite different from the way someone who has a purpose in mind wants to respond to them.
Absolutely.
So I think for me,
absolutely,
what makes the difference is purpose. What's your purpose? Why do you want to achieve this? Why do you want to come out? Why do you want to look like this? Why do you want to respond like this? Why do you want to give that attitude? Why do you want to create an impression of a good attitude to other people? So your purpose really defines your attitude.
Interesting. And it's a lot of things to unpack together. But I think one thing that struck me is the belief. When you mentioned the belief part, I know you gave the example of the call center person that one responds in a certain way, the other responds in another way.
Yeah.
But like you said, the purpose is very key. Why exactly are you even doing what you are doing? Which I would like to tie it to the belief of that person, or belief again is not only about individuals. An organization can have a belief, what they believe in. So that belief then shapes how they respond to their customers, shapes the type of things they say. It's just like you say. So, but like I said, this belief part now, how do we look at some of the limiting beliefs? Because belief, in my view, determines how someone thinks, determines how someone acts.
Yeah.
Because if you don't believe certain things, you won't act in certain ways. So now, somebody who has a limiting belief, which I would also call like your philosophy, really. Your philosophy is like how you set up the sail, how you set your sail to go forward. For example, one person would say, just like the example, similar to example you gave, one person would say, if I don't, my teammates, I don't care about what they are doing. Just like I was saying earlier, I don't care about what they are doing outside work. I'm only concerned about their work. And another leader would say, I'm actually concerned about my teammates' work, and I'm also concerned about what they do outside work. Just a sort of show of affection. Do you think you have any maybe limiting beliefs that you might want to share with us, that you think, if certain individuals or entrepreneurs are thinking this way, this type of thinking, how will it affect their leadership? Do you have any clues for us of those types of thinking?
Okay, so beliefs. You see, the subject of belief is really vast, and it's
Absolutely.
also it's a very fragile topic.
True.
True. And I think environments, and then parental care, and what the kind of the nature of friends you keep, and the kind of friends you keep, the kind of company you surround yourself with, and the types of content you take. So those things really contribute.
Information you consume.
Exactly. So it's not just about book. We're in digital world right now, and you don't necessarily have to even read books. You could just be like, who you follow, instead of people you follow. And these people also, we can also trace it back to the fact that probably parental care, probably the nature of way they were taught to have to set up businesses. So this is it. I think that if we want to talk about this topic, we need to actually look at what you want to achieve.
Sure.
So now, does it affect your work life? Now, if it affects your work life, does it affect your performance? Now, if it affects your performance, does it affect the person's well-being and lifestyle? Because the truth is this: if your mind is affected, your work life will also be affected. So there are certain beliefs that I believe are very, very dangerous, and they're dangerous based on the results you want to achieve. So, for example, you have a company, and it's a top company, like a top, let's say, Elon Musk, Tesla, and all. It's a very big company, and you want to achieve. Let's say you have a goal to probably employ 10,000 people, or 5,000 people, or 50,000 people within 2 years or 3 years. And you need to understand that this is the nature of people you should have. And now, knowing this, that is the nature of people you should have, and what affects their personal life. And so, you have an employee coming in, and as a CEO, hey, come here. And you know the set of people you're working with. And you just talk to them anyhow. Now, they will do it because they would respond to it because they want money.
Of course.
They want money. They really want money, so they just do it. But then, if you have people who know who they really are and what they bring to the table, they're probably going to leave the company. And so, if you know that you want a kind of company where you have people that are leaders and not just followers, you should know that leaders will also have principles that govern their lifestyle.